Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Welcome to a special solar eclipse special. We figured everybody else is talking about the eclipse. We might as well do it too. Welcome. I hope you all had a lovely weekend. We had our calendar blanket Friday was Friday. We launched the April tutorial. So we've got the brand new square number 4 out. That came out on Friday, and a lot of you have already sent me photographs, so that's awesome. Thank you so much for popping into the shop and doing that. A really fun square. I really like that one. It's a nice sort of change from the very complicated Jacob's Ladder that we did the month before. This one still makes you think a little bit, but it's definitely different, and it's really fun to play with colors. So that one, I'm really happy with that one. That one was kind of fun and exciting, and it sounds like from the photographs that are rolling in that a lot of you had a lot of fun with it too. So that's awesome. Today, in celebration, I guess, of the solar eclipse, I don't remember really a big full solar eclipse since I think about grade 3 for me. I think was the last time that we had anything near a full eclipse. I remember that there was a lot of excitement about it, but that's about all I really remember. So this is kind of neat, you know? We have eclipses all the time, but not full total eclipses, so this is kind of cool. So since we're doing that today, we thought we would literally do a sunshine. We're going to crochet our original signature sunshine today. We have a tutorial for it. If it's not linked in the description box, we'll make sure that it is linked down below. And we are having a solar eclipse sale over in our Etsy shop. We are going to have all of our sun and moon related projects or patterns on sale in the shop. So there's a couple of things. One, 4 of them will be sitting up top in the featured section, including our signature sunshine pattern. And also, if you haven't been to the Etsy shop in a while, or if you aren't terribly familiar with navigating the Etsy shop, there is a sale section. So if you pop into the shop, all of the sale or the shop sections are, at least on a computer or a laptop, they kind of are all listed on the left-hand side, and there's literally a sale section. So anytime there's anything on sale in the shop, you can pop into the sale section and see what's on sale. Yeah, so that's how that works. It's kind of handy. I think you can probably see the sections on the tablet or the phone too. You just have to kind of click or tap on some different buttons before you sort of see all the different little options. But anyway, let's talk about how we are going to do today's sunshine. The original sunshine pattern used acrylic size 4 medium weight yarn, which you can still use. Because it's an amigurumi, I recommended a smaller hook, a 4.25 millimeter or a G6 hook. That's for the original. But today, obviously, I want to have a little bit of fun and change things up a bit. I've got this ball of, it's decor. I think it's called Bernat decor, but more importantly, it's like t-shirt yarn or spaghetti yarn. And it's a size 5. It's an acrylic nylon or cotton nylon, not acrylic, I should say. It's a cotton nylon blend. It's really lovely stuff. It's a bright, happy yellow. I've had it for ages and I've been wanting to make something with it. So I'm going to make our sunshine with it. So I am using a 5 bulky weight yarn instead of the 4 medium weight. And I thought it would be fun to sort of experiment with it. I'm upsizing my hook for the purpose of this. So I'm using a 7 millimeter. You can also use a 6.5 millimeter, which is I think also known as a K or a 10.5, size 10.5. But that's what I'm going to do. I've went ahead and made a few pieces already, just so we're not here all day and everybody misses the eclipse. But most of these are repeated, so I will take you through it. I know some of you crochet a lot faster than me, so I'll be giving you sort of how we the pattern as we go. Mr. InStitches is giving me the ding ding, which tells me there's stuff going on in the chat. Oh my goodness. Joanne, thank you for picking up some patterns. Let me just pop into the chat here. Crochet with Diane, member for 42 months. Hi, Diane. I just ordered yarn from the Wool Warehouse. Ooh, that sounds like fun. The Wool Warehouse. And Dawn, welcome to Alpaca. Thanks for joining the family. This is kind of a welcome back to Dawn. Thank you, Dawn. And all right, let's get started. Like I said, there's an original tutorial for this. We'll link that in the description box down below. We've refreshed the pattern. So if you've previously purchased the pattern from us, you can just pop into your Etsy account, go through your receipts, and find the receipt where you purchased the sunshine pattern, and you can re-download the pattern. We just revised it very, very briefly. So if you want a refreshed version of the pattern and you've already picked it up, you can just re-download the fresh version. It will be attached to your receipt still, because we always refresh patterns inside the same listing. So if you've purchased it before and we make some revisions to it, you can always pop back in and re-download the pattern and you'll get the most up-to-date version of it. That's something we like to do. So let's go. Quickly again, size 5. It's a bulky weight yarn, or what I would call a chunky weight yarn. Hi Sonia, thanks for picking up a pattern. I'm going to use this decor stuff. It's like a spaghetti yarn or t-shirt yarn. It's a cotton nylon, so there's a little bit of stretch to it, but it's just so soft. It's a nice sunny yellow color. I'm going to use a 7mm hook. You can also use a 6.5mm, which is also known as a K hook. Pair of scissors, yarn needle. You might want a stitch marker, you might not. For my little facial features, I'm going to use regular size 4 medium weight acrylic. This is just a little kind of stuffed toy, or I guess in my case, I'm going to be using it as a little decorative cushion for the craft room. So I'm just going to be making facial features out of the typical size 4 medium weight acrylic yarn that I used in the original one, but I am upsizing my hook a little bit. So instead of using the 4.25mm hook, I'm going to use the 5.5mm, also known as the I or the 9. So that's just for the cheeks basically, because the smile and the eyes in this pattern are just 2 little lines each. So you don't even need to crochet anything. You're just doing some very basic embroidery, which is why you want your yarn needle. So you're just crocheting a couple of cheeks, which is very, very simple. So really you can use any yarn and any hook you want for that. Whatever's comfortable for you and whatever you think suits the face of your sunshine. This pattern can be fully upsized and fully downsized just by changing the yarn weight and the hook size. So if you wanted to do something super micro mini and make it out of like thread, you could totally do that. Use your crochet thread or your embroidery floss, use like a 2mm hook or 1.75mm, something really small, whatever suits your tension, and just follow the pattern the same way and it'll completely size down. You can also use super thick, that blanket yarn, that super poofy Chanel kind of yarn. That they make a lot of the big plushies out of. You can use that, like the Bernat blanket yarn, and a relatively decent sized hook, like an 8mm or an L11, something like that, even bigger if your tension's a bit tight, and follow the pattern exactly, and you completely upsize it to a really cute pillow size. So whatever you've got on hand, you can use to make this pillow or this little sunshine. So let's get into it. I'm going to put all my little bits aside. I'm going to keep my yellow out. And we're going to start with the 2 pieces. So there's the thing is made using 2 pieces that are then stitched together. So there's a side 1 and a side 2. They're both identical. The only difference is that after you finish side 2, you don't fasten off. You don't cut your yarn. So side 1, you do fasten off and you can weave in that tail, or if you're like me and you're a bit lazy, you can just crochet over top of it when we go to sort of put the 2 of them together. But when you finish side 2, you don't fasten off. So I'm telling you that because I went ahead and I made side 1, just so we're not here all day. And also so you could see it, and I could just quickly talk about a couple things that come up when we're doing things like pillows or amigurumi. This is an ever increasing circle. So it's an absolutely even increasing pattern. It's a base of 10. And then you double it to 20, triple to 30, quadruple to 40, etc., etc., etc. We do 6 rows. We go 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 stitches at the end of each row. Hi, Tanya. Thanks for picking up a pattern. And it's a little tight because we're working with a slightly smaller hook than the yarn in any case, whichever yarn you want. So it's going to be a little tight, which means that your circle might not be completely flat. That's okay. It doesn't matter because this is going to be part of a 3-dimensional piece, which is going to get stuffing. You're going to want stuffing. I haven't chosen what I'm going to use for stuffing yet, so I guess I will pull something out of the craft room when I get to that point. I've just been using mostly yarn for my stuffing lately because I haven't had any pillow stuffing, but pillow stuffing is a great choice for this. So I'll probably just be using yarn, and I'll find that when I need to. I don't know if I'm going to get to the stuffing part today, but I hope so. Hello, Heather. Welcome to the family. Thanks for joining our silk family. I'm also sipping on my coffee. Mr. InStitches has reminded us again that there's a sale. Our little Eclipse sale is going on in the shop. Thank you, Nico. Hi, Nico. Thanks for picking up a couple patterns. So if you can't see the Eclipse today, you can just have a little bit of fun with us making a sunshine. And then after we've got these two pieces made, we're going to make some sun points. The sun points are 3-dimensional. They do not require stuffing, so you really don't need much stuffing at all. And then we're just going to stitch those on. So here we go. This is side one. Side 1 and side 2 are identical. And if you zip ahead, we're going to start with a cinch circle, and we're going to chain 1 that just sort of secures the circle, and then 10 single crochet into the circle. So I know some of you really motor. I will sing out what we're doing ahead of what I do, just so if you want to get zipping along ahead of us. And like I said, side 1 and side 2 are absolutely identical. The only difference is that you fasten off side 1 and you do not fasten off side 2. So 10 single crochet into that little cinch circle to start. So that's 10. Karen says, someone said if you keep your tails from projects you can use, if you keep your tails from projects you do, you can use for padding. I keep all the ends of my yarn, so I don't, anything I trim, any yarn that's not enough to do anything with, I just put it aside in a big jar and I use it for stuffing. Yeah, you don't need, especially when you're making little stuffed toys. I just use yarn. Sometimes I use yarn that I don't like. If I've got yarn left over, or yarn like I bought some and I'm like, I just don't, I'm sick of looking at it, or I'm not going to use it, or it didn't work out the way I wanted, I use that for stuffing too. We are not joining our rows. Each piece in this little pattern is made in a continuous round. So no joining rows with a slip stitch, no chain 1 to start a new row. We just begin the next row into what was the first stitch of the row previous. You can work over top of your short tail or leave it to the back. It doesn't matter because it's just going to become stuffing. 2 single crochet in each stitch all the way around. If you have trouble keeping track of the beginning of a row, you might want to use a stitch marker to mark the first stitch of each row. That way you can just focus on the increased pattern, which in this case is 2 single crochet in each stitch, and turn your brain off. You can just sort of worry about getting the right stitch count. When you get back to the stitch marker, you know you've finished a whole row. Yes, like the pom-pom yarn, Tina. That stuff was, I still have it. I might actually just, I might just use the pom-pom yarn. I still have so much of it. Yes, Cherry. Hi, Cherry. We're making the sunshine today. I'm making it a little bit bigger than the original. Hi, Heather. Thanks for picking up a couple patterns. Our little solar eclipse sale. Mr. InStitches made an absolutely adorable animation for that. I'm just loving it. Celebrating the total eclipse, which is kind of exciting. I guess it's not a total eclipse everywhere, but it's I guess a lot of the US and Canada, or a nice chunk of the US and Canada, get to see a part of that eclipse today, so that's kind of exciting. All right, that is from 10 in row 1 to 20 in row 2. If you've got spaces in between your stitches like I do, don't worry about it. If you're going to use pillow stuffing, the white stuffing, it will obviously not, it's not going to be, these aren't big enough for any stuffing to come through, and the white or lighter yarn or stuffing you use will just kind of like blend into the background. But, ooh, goodness, I hear ding ding. Jordan, thank you for the super sticker. Thank you so much. What a cute little, aw, that's a happy little lemon. Thank you, Jordan. And Cherry, hi Cherry. Cherry's been a member for 46 months, says, happy eclipse in Ohio. Woohoo. If your spaces are big, you could always use, if you've got, this is going to sound funny, but if you've got pantyhose that you don't need, you can always make a little pillow enclosure or a stuffing enclosure with pantyhose. So you can tie a little knot, stuff that pantyhose full of yarn, stuffing, whatever, and then tie another knot and use that as the little stuffing enclosure, and none of those little bits will come through the little spaces because the nylon will keep it together. So if you have old pantyhose, you know, that's a nice way to use it up. Row 2, you've got 20 stitches. At the end of every row, it's an even increase. So 10 stitches at row 1, 20 stitches in row 2, 30 stitches in row 3, 40 stitches in row 4, etc. We've got 6 rows to do. We start row 3 with 2 single crochet in the first stitch. I'm still smiling because I'm thinking about the word pantyhoses. Pantyhoses, it's a word that makes me giggle. I don't know why. 1 single crochet into the next stitch, and that is the little increase pattern all the way around. 2 single crochet, 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, 1 single crochet. And that will bring us up to 30 stitches. Easy peasy. Welcome, welcome everybody if you're just joining us. It is a day of sunshine around here. 2, 1, 2, 1. I've got a cup of coffee here. It's we've got some sunlight where we are, which is really nice. It is starting to feel a little bit like spring. Dare I say that out loud? I'm so excited about that.
Shh. Keep that to yourself.
I know. Some of you are kind of in the path of the eclipse and you're going to have a bunch of tourism. You know what? I know it can be a bit annoying for the day, but I also have to say it's kind of nice for some places to get a little bit of a tourist boom in April. You know, there's not a lot going on in April, so it's nice for some of these places to get a little bit of tourist money.
Little economic boost.
Little economic boom. I say it's a good thing. Hello, Connie. Connie has been a member for 36 months. Thank you, Connie. Says, hello from Ohio. Do you have a video on how to write a pattern? No, we don't have a video on how to write a pattern. I think we've talked about it a couple times. I would say that if you can read patterns, you should read a whole lot of patterns so to get an idea of what you like in a pattern or how you feel. You should, it's like a book. If you read a bunch of books, you have a better idea of how to write a story as opposed to never having read any stories. You might have a harder time knowing how to, if you've never read a story, you'll have a harder time knowing how to write a story. It's the same thing with reading a lot of food recipes. It'll give you a much better idea of how a recipe is structured and how you would write a recipe, what you think is pertinent to the recipe. It's the exact same thing with patterns. If you want to write patterns, you really need to, first of all, know what you're doing, crochet a lot, read a lot of different patterns from a lot of different people, familiarize yourself with the general terminology, depending on whether you want to use US terminology or UK terminology or what language you're writing in, and then, start. My pattern writing has changed in the 10 plus years that I've been properly writing patterns. And I think it will continue to change because as I grow as a pattern designer and a pattern writer, my fine tuning continues. Like there's things that I want to say differently or do differently or I want to put things in a different order. That's going to just evolve naturally. And I think like a book writer is the same. Book writers do the same thing. The way they start writing a book is not typically the same way. Like their books don't necessarily look and feel and sound the same 20 years on from their first book. I'm just starting in row 4 now. So row 1, row 2, row 3, 30 stitches all the way around. Row 4, we're still increasing. 2 single crochet in the first stitch. Every row begins the same way. 2 single crochet in the first stitch, followed by a single crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Row 4, we want 40 stitches. The increased pattern is a total of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All the way around. 2 stitches followed by a single crochet in each of the next 2. That'll bring us up to 40 stitches. So if you're really motoring around, you're probably way ahead of me. You know, row 5 is the same kind of increasing pattern. You start with 2 single crochet in the first stitch, and then it's followed by 3 individual single crochet. And row 6 begins with 2 single crochet followed by 4 individual single crochets, and so on. It's just your basic little increasing pattern. We're on row 4, so it's 2 single crochet followed by a single crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. And I'll make sure that we've got that link to the original tutorial in the description box of this live stream after today's live stream is finished. Hello, Nico! Nico's gifted a membership. Thank you so much, Nico! And Carmelita has won it. Congratulations! Thank you, thank you, thank you. I have to say, I am happy to be sitting here on a Monday with you all. It's kind of neat that there's something a little bit out of the ordinary happening today. That kind of makes it an interesting way to start the week. I feel like there's been an inordinate amount of excitement about it, but maybe that's just me. Kind of exciting, I guess, if you're very young and you've never been witness to a total eclipse before. Do single crochet into the next stitch, single crochet in each of the last 2 stitches. That brings me up to 40. Now, if your circle is really starting to look like a saddle, that's okay. It's just tightness combined with the yarn weight. And don't worry about it, because once we've got the whole thing sort of stitched together and stuffed, that will kind of go the right direction. It'll go kind of round itself out over top of the stuffing. So don't worry about it. But you can certainly lay it down and just flatten it out every so often, just to keep it from rippling too much. All right, into row 5. Row 5 begins with 2 single crochet in the first stitch. Every row begins with the little increase. I put my stitch marker back on stitch number 1 so I don't have to think about it. Row number 5 is 2 single crochet worked into the first stitch, single crochet worked into each of the next 3 stitches, and then repeat. 2, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, all the way around back to the stitch marker. We'll be up to 50 stitches at the end of row 5. This is very nice feeling yarn. It's the first time I've worked with it. I've had it in the stash for quite a while, but didn't know what to do with it, and then thought, gee, maybe I should make a sunshine. I think I've had that thought a couple times, but haven't gotten around to it. So this is just the perfect excuse to bust it out. It's a cotton nylon blend. It's that Bernat Decor. Does it ever feel nice? I really like it. Ding, ding. Mr. InStitches has been running a poll. I didn't know. Are you in an area to see the 100% solar eclipse today? No, 67%. Yes, 30%. Will be traveling to see it. 1%. Oh, how exciting. Hey, any excuse for a little road trip, especially in the early spring. After the winter, you're just like, oh my gosh, get me out of the house. Audrey asks, Jada, do you have a bumblebee applique pattern? I'm in the process of making a baby blanket and the mom is decorating the baby's room with bees and sunflowers. Oh my gosh, that is so stinking cute. We do have a sunflower. Actually, we've got several sunflower things. We've got, do we have a bee applique? I don't think we do, but I do. We don't have a tutorial for it, but I do have a bee applique. I've got one because I needed one, so I made one up. I do that a lot. I don't necessarily translate a lot of what I do into tutorials and stuff, but you know what? I will endeavor to put that together this week for you, because I should have a little tutorial on that. That's a sweet idea. Yes. So the short answer is no, and the quicker answer is is yes. We will try to get a bumblebee tutorial put together for you guys. Judith, thank you for picking up a pattern. Shay asked, Jada, I forgot what you said. If I want to include any of the 3 granny squares in the cowl this year, do I still do 6 rounds like the V-stitch granny you did? Yes. So if you're making the grannies for the specific calendar blanket 6 rows like me, then you can use the classic granny square, the V-stitch granny square, and the solid double crochet granny square. You can use any of those 3, but you need to make them the same number of rows. So in this case, 6 rows. If you're doing 8-row grannies, make them all 8 rows. If you're doing 10-row grannies, make them all 10 rows, etc. So as long as they're all the same row count, they'll all fit in. Yes, we have a bumblebee, like an actual bee pattern, the little 3-dimensional bee. So that would be cute if you wanted to include that. A couple of you mentioning that there, but we don't have a flat applique yet. So we will endeavor to put that together this week. That actually sounds like a really nice little spring kind of tutorial. Great idea. All right, let's see. I think while I was chatting, I finished row 5 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 50 stitches all the way around. Row 6, last row of increase. We begin with 2 single crochet into the first stitch. I'm going to mark my first stitch of the row, followed by a single crochet in each of the next 4 stitches. And at the end of this row, we'll have 60 stitches. That will be all we need for for side 1 and side 2. So I've already made side 1. This is technically my side 2, but if you're going to do this along with me, you want to make 2 identical. And side 1 you can fasten off, weave in your tail if you like. Side 2, do not fasten off. This is my side 2, so I will be demonstrating not fastening off. And then after we've got these 2 little pieces, we're going to make a little face for it. Of course, you don't have to put a face on this sunshine if you're just making a sweet little sunshine, but this is our classic sunshine amigurumi. So this little sun has a happy little face. Alfreda, thank you so much for picking up some patterns. Jada, be kind and put up a bee applique. I like it. Oh my goodness, look who's here. It's Ronald and Kathy Jones. Hello, you two. Ding ding is correct. Thank you so much for popping in with a super generous super chat. Good morning, cousins. Enjoying our morning with you both. Yes, spring has definitely sprung. We will see the entire eclipse today in Indiana. Oh, congratulations. That's so cool. Love to see and be here with you both, Kathy and Ron. Thank you, guys. So you guys are watching the eclipse. I think it's kind of ish this afternoon-ish. Is that correct? I kind of don't even know. I've been so busy working on the sunshine, I haven't even looked up what time. I guess it's probably going to be different depending on where you are, isn't it? We don't all get the sun at the same time.
I'm going to see if I can look it up.
Can you find it, mister? What time's it going through Ontario?
It depends on where you are. Maps and times. Yeah, you'd have to check out the maps to see your area, what time. It looks like for the east, North American East Coast-ish, it's going to be early afternoon.
Early afternoon, okay. I know not everybody's going to have good weather today either. Janet, thank you for picking up a pattern. Thank you, thank you. All right, I'm just finishing row 6. I have what looks like a little saddle here, so not big deal. If you guys don't have a completely flat circle, that's okay. You can just take a moment, lay it flat, flatten it out with your hands. Remember, this is going to be a 3D thing, so it's a little stuffed toy or like a pillow. So once you have the whole thing stuffed, that rippling effect will disappear. But you can always just flatten it down with your hands. This is very normal. All right. I'm going to not fasten off. One of the things that I probably could have done is continue single crocheting to sort of even up the circles, but it's not really necessary. I'm gonna just leave it the way it is. Usually when I make a round circle, I always finish off the ends by crocheting an extra stitch for each row of increase. So in this case, I would have single crocheted an extra 6 in each place. Did I do that here? I might have done that. Yeah, it looks like I did. You know what? I'm gonna do that. So instead of just leaving it off, I'm gonna single crochet into each of the next 6 stitches. This is, in this case, optional if you want to do this or not. I don't think I did in the original tutorial, but I think maybe for this one I will. And really all that's doing, it's not going to change your stitch count. It's just going to even up the circle a smidgeny bit more. A smidgeny bit. Not super important, but you can do that if you want. So in side 1, if you're just doing side 1, you can finish row 6. You can single crochet into each of the next 6 stitches if you want. Otherwise, it's okay. You don't have to. Slip stitch into the next stitch and fasten off. That's row 1. If it's row 2, you can not slip stitch. So you're not slip stitching at the end of row 2 and you're not fastening off. You're just going to kind of pull up on your loop and put your 2 things aside for now, because now we're going to make a little face. So I want to make some cheeks, and for that I've got some nice pink yarn here. This is a size 4 medium weight acrylic yarn. It's not the same fiber, it's not the same weight as the rest of my sun, but that's okay because this is a little decorative pillow. It's not something that's going to get probably washed much, if at all, because it's just supposed to be decorative. So I'm not worried about the 2 fibers not being identical, but this is a cotton nylon blend, which doesn't typically shrink much, and this is an acrylic, which doesn't really shrink. So these kind of would all be okay with each other normally anyhow. But all we're going to do now is make some cheeks. So I want to make 2 of these. These are just super simple. I'm using a slightly larger hook than I did for the original one because I just want them to be a little bit bigger. So I'm going to make a cinch circle. And I'm just going to single crochet 6 times. So 6 times into the circle, cinch it up nice and tight. Slip stitch to the first stitch you made, and that's your little smiling cheek. So a little simple little cheek for your son. Debbie, thank you for picking up a couple of patterns. Just leave yourself enough tail for a little bit of sewing, nothing more than maybe 15 centimeters or 6 inches. And then you want to weave in the back, the little tail on the back. And you don't have to, be super neat and tidy about this. This is going to be stitched down, so it's not going to show. And if you have too much of that little tail, you can trim any excess and use it as stuffing. Yeah, I don't need all that, so I'll just snip that little bit of a tail and put it aside. I'll use it for stuffing in a minute. So there's cheek number 1. I want to make 2 of these. And before I do that, I'm going to have a cup of tea or a little sip of my coffee here. All right. Smiling cheek number 2, same thing as the first one. Make a cinch circle, chain 1 to secure it, and 6 single crochet into the circle. One, two, three, four, five, 6. Cinch it up nice and tight. Slip stitch to join at the beginning, the first stitch there. And then fasten off, leave about 15 centimeters or 6 inches just for sewing. And that is all you need of that. So very little extra yarn for this project. It's mostly just the sunshine yarn. And then take a moment to weave in the little short tail on the other side of the smiling cheek. Sunshine, you don't bring your crochet with you to work? I mean, maybe you don't have a job that you can do that with, but I always brought my crochet with me, and I would sit on my lunch break and crochet. Sometimes I even taught people at work how to do that. I usually travel with crochet of some kind, just in case I find myself somewhere without anything to do for a few minutes. I'd rather sit and crochet than stare at my phone. Now, why is that one a little bit smaller than this one? They're roughly the same. All right, that's my two little cheeks. I have just literally a couple of scraps for the eyes and for the mouth. And now we are going to pick a side. So I think I'm going to go with side one as my face. And we're going to put the face on. So let me just get myself a little bit of space. I'm going to need my yarn needle for this. And the first thing you want to do is decide where you want to put your smile, because your smile will kind of tell you where you're going to end up putting your cheeks, and then probably where you're going to put your eyes. So I like to look for, here's the middle. This is row one of the very center, row one of the side that I'm going to put my face on. And I like to come down to maybe like just under row two, between row two and row three. There's that natural kind of break. And I think I'm going to put the smile there. Nothing tricky. I'm just going to thread up my red yarn. I'm going to maybe make it not too big. I'm going to come down to about, so I'm leaving a bit of tail out the back just so I can knot it. This is like a super basic bit of embroidery. I'm going to come down through the middle and then do exactly the same thing over here. And if I don't like the way that looks, I'll take it out and I'll try something else. Basically, I just want to make it look like it's smiling. That's actually not so bad. The other way to do this, I'm fiddling with a couple of different choices just because I've made my sun a little larger, so my embroidery is going to be covering a little bit more space than it normally does. I can make one long line that will kind of lie inside the space between those two rows, and then I can make sure my yarn doesn't come out of my little needle here. I can bring my needle up through a space in the middle and then back down through the same space just to kind of like, just to give it a little, actually I'm going to do that to the one next to it. That looks really cute. It looks like it's got like a little lips. Just to kind of tack it down in place. Yeah, that looks really cute. Mr. InStitches with the ding ding. Hello, Melissa. Melissa's been a member for 17 months. Hi, Melissa. Says happy eclipse in yarn day to everyone. I like that. It's an eclipse of yarn. I could probably blot out the sun with the amount of yarn I have in the craft room. Hi, Katie. Katie's been a member for 8 months. Katie says, love this. So cute. I love it too. I mean, sunshine is what it's all about, in my opinion. But happy to share this pattern again with you guys. This is one of the first tutorials we did on the channel. Like, we are going back a good solid decade here. So it's really fun to bring this back and try it with a nice sort of different yarn to kind of give it a different look. So what I've done is I made one long line, just, you know, brought the tail in, and then I tacked it by coming up through a space and over the yarn and back down to the same space. And I did that twice, just sort of tack the middle. I think that looks really cute. It looks almost like it's got like a little tiny pursed lip. Easy peasy, just knot your two yarn ends together. Oh my goodness, Tammy, thank you for picking up a pattern. That went off twice. I wonder why. And I'm not even gonna bother trimming because this just can be part of the stuffing eventually. We are having a solar eclipse sale. If you are just popping by, we've got a solar eclipse sale happening in our Etsy shop. So 15% off any of our sun and moon patterns, which I just think is so cute. Sun and moon Rita also picked up a couple patterns. Thank you, Rita. Rita, Debbie, Tammy, Janet, Alfreda, Judith, Heather, Nico, Tanya, Sonia, Joanne. Thank you, ladies, for picking up a pattern or two or a few at the shop. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Very much appreciated. All right, that's our little smiling smile on. This now tells us where we can put our little cheeks. They're just going to be parked right at the top edge, either side of the little smile. So easy peasy, you know exactly where to put them. I'm going to get my cheeks sewn down, and then we will do the eyes. Mr. InStitches is just quickly going through on the screen there how to find the for sale section in our Etsy shop. So anytime you pop into our Etsy shop, you can look at all of the different categories we have in our shop, and one of them is sale. So if there's anything on sale, it'll be in the sale category automatically. You don't have to go looking for it. So that's there. Etsy keeps kind of improving things. I know they've had that little option for a while, but we haven't, you know, we don't remember to mention all of these things all the time. All right, coffee is good today. So all I'm going to do is just position my little cheek right at the edge of the smile. I'm going to do the exact same thing on either side. And then I'm going to thread up the tail I left behind. And I'm just going to sew right through the fabric. So I'm going to come all the way out the other side, in through the next stitch, and down. Super simple, old-fashioned here. Nothing fancy, just to sew it down. Hello, Tanya. Welcome to Silk. Thank you for joining. Welcome to the family. Mr. InStitches with the little bell. So this is nice and simple. Nothing, I'm just holding the sun, and I should say holding the little smile in place. Oh, I can hear the birds chirping outside, guys. It is making me so happy. There we go. Just bringing my needle in, making sure I get each stitch along the edge of the smile, or I should say of the little cheek, and making sure that it's basically parked right at the edge of where the smile ends. And then I'm going to make sure that I put the second cheek on pretty much exactly balanced and opposite on the other side of the smile. And then I'm not even going to bother knotting it. I'm just going to leave that tail out to the back because I'm going to knot the two ends together just to keep it from wanting to unravel. So that's one cheek down. And now I'm going to sew down the other one. And make sure that it's relatively opposite. I'm going to hold it in place with my thumb and just start sewing. Also making sure that I don't stitch too tightly. I want to make sure this one is relatively balanced to the first, so I'm going to pause every so often with number 2 just to make sure that I have it relatively balanced. And one more. Oops, looks like my tail fell off or fell out. want that to be... I'm just tightening up a few of my stitches here, everybody. There we go. Ding! Oh, Nico. Oh my goodness. Nico! Thank you, Nico. Nico has just gifted 5 memberships. Nico, the gifting ninja, swoops in. Oh my gosh. What have we got here? Congratulations to Regina, Ivana, Colleen, Catherine, and Sylvia. Pardon me, Sylvia. Congratulations, you guys. And welcome back to the family, everybody. All right, there's my cheek. For some reason, it looks a little, maybe I made this one a little bit too tight. There we go. There, that's nice and balanced. So I just take these 2 ends, and without being too tight, so I don't want to like cinch the back of the sun together, but I make sure that I make a nice taut, I should say, little knot that will keep them from undoing, and then I don't have to weave anything in. It doesn't matter. This is all just going to end up in the middle as stuffing anyway. There's my smile, my 2 cheeks, and now I just want to put on my 2 eyes. And I've got 1 piece of black yarn for that. I'm basically going to do the opposite of the sun, but just sort of shorter. So two little triangles, or half a triangle, and that's it. That's the extent of the embroidery and the face. It's a very simple little face, which I like. Now I just want to decide where I want to put my eyes. So I like the idea of them being kind of like the ends of the eyes being sort of in alignment with the middle of the cheeks. So if that's the middle of each cheek, I want each eye to end about there. And so that means maybe having them both kind of, I'm going to come up to about here. Maybe that's a little high. So what I would do is just leave some tail out to the back, and I would go directly across through another space, and then I would come up. So I'm going to hold this so it doesn't want to undo on me. And then back down through the same place. So I'm hopping over top of the little bit of yarn and just tacking it into place. And then of course I can pull on this one to make it a little tighter. And once I've got the other eye on, I can make it a little bit tighter. So there we go. That's just enough of a little sort of kind of a what's the word? It's like a just a little arc, a little bow. It's just a sort of a smiling kind of eye. And then I want to do the exact same thing on the other side. So I hop over, still with the same yarn, and I go out the other way. Excuse me. And then, is that going to be high enough? Maybe shall I do it here? No, it's going to be too high. Is that too high? No, maybe not. There. Does that look significant? Does that look like it's smiling enough? I think so. Yeah.
That looks like a happy little sun to me.
Looks like a happy smiling face to me. So I'm just going to
He's going to be really annoyed when the moon blocks his view, though. He's going to be like, hey, down in front.
Down in front.
I can't see the little humans.
So I'm just same thing I did with the 2 cheeks. I'm just knotting those 2 ends together. Not too tight because I don't want them to be pulled out of alignment. But there we go. There is my happy smiling little face. Easy peasy. So I've got a little smile, 2 cheeks, a couple of eyes, and that's it. So now all I want to do is put the 2 pieces together. So I take the right side of side number 2 and I make sure it's facing away from me, and I want to put these two pieces wrong sides together. So the right side is facing out on both sides. I'm going to flip this over now and put my hook back in my yarn. And now we are going to single crochet through each set of matched stitches all the way around. So I'm just going to pull that down, get that out of the way. I hear ding ding. Tamiko, hi! Welcome back, and thank you for upgrading. Welcome to the family. Welcome to Merino. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. We are going to pair the two sides up. Since these both have the same number of stitches, you're basically just single crocheting through each set of stitches all the way around. So right from where you left off, just put your hook through 2 stitches and single crochet. Just like you never stopped single crocheting, or you never stopped working. And we're not increasing, we're just single crocheting through each set of matched stitches all the way around. So you'll have 60 matched stitches all the way around, and about 8 or 10 stitches before we finish single crocheting the whole thing together, we're going to pause and we're going to stuff it. And I am going to find some stuffing. I've got my eye on a few potential options here. Try not to single crochet too tightly, but also it's going to help pull that slightly rippling circle into a little bit more. It's going to be less ripply, and then once we have it stuffed, that will disappear altogether. So just take your time, single crochet in each set of matched stitches all the way around. I like to make sure I get my hook through, you know, the stitch of side 1 first and then the stitch of side 2 before I single crochet. Not in a rush. Sunglasses are a cute idea, Sandra. I like that. Yes, this is making it a little bit bigger, giving it a little bit more space. I'm going to make sure that all of my little tails are kind of tucked inside, but I have yet to stuff it, so I'm not too worried. I'm just making sure that I don't accidentally catch any of those tails while I'm single crocheting, but I feel like gravity's keeping them out of the way for me here, so there's that. I don't know if I've got any of the eyelash yarn left, Catherine. I've got pom-pom yarn. I think I'm just going to pull it all out. We'll decide what I stuff it with here in a minute. Sorry? I'm using a 7mm, but you can also use a 6.5mm, also known as a K. I'm using a size 5 chunky bulky weight yarn. It's the Decor by Bernat. I'm not even sure if they still make it. I've had a ball in the stash for a while and I've been wanting to do something with it. The original pattern uses a size 4 medium weight acrylic, but you can use this pattern with any weight yarn and appropriate matching hook size, and it will size up or size down. You don't have to do anything to the pattern to make it different. When it comes to the face, I recommend using roughly the same weighted yarn for the facial features, but even that you can play a little bit with. Like I just used a regular size 4 weight yarn for my facial features, but you could use bigger yarn if you're making it like with that super bulky stuff. Just make everything the same. use the same hook for all the bits and pieces, but you can play with that a little bit. I'd like to try one of these in a super small size too, like with crochet thread. So make sure my little tails are tucked out of the way. And then I've still got some space. What you're going to do is before you finish stitching up the whole thing, you're going to pause and you're going to stuff it. So I'm going to pause here in a minute. Not quite yet. I like to leave maybe like 8 or 10 stitches. Yeah. All right. I'm going to pause. I'm going to grab some stuffing yarn. So it's already starting to like smooth out a little bit. And once we get it stuffed, it'll look quite nice. I like this size. It's good. All right. What have I got for stuffing here? I've got this crazy stuff. I've got pom-pom yarn, although that's kind of dark. What else have I got? Oh, I do have some eyelash yarn. Oh, I've got quite a bit. I've got, that's probably a good one because it's about the same color. This has got some pink in it, but that's not bad. I've got some fun fur. I've got some other fluffy stuff. That might be good too. I want to use some lighter yarns. I don't want to darken the color of the bright yellow too much. So maybe that pom-pom is out of the way. I see talking about wedding anniversaries. Is ours the 26th? Yes. I never remember.
I honestly can't remember.
I never remember. I can never remember because
I think it is.
Because we
to double check.
It's
been so many years.
We met on either the 22nd or the 26th, and we got married on either the 22nd or the 26th. That's what I remember.
Thanks a lot, everyone in the chat. You're gonna get me in trouble. That date seems to ring a bell.
Yes, I think
but
it was.
I don't know which bell it's ringing.
I think so I think these might be too dark. I think this one's too dark. I think this one's nice and fluffy though.
We got the month right. That counts. I
yes.
think that's more important.
That counts.
Yeah.
I think I'm definitely going to use this because it's fluffy and there's not much left of it, and it's a nice light pink. So I'm going to use that. This has got, that's a good one too. It's very, very fluffy. Honestly, guys, I'm not good with dates. I have trouble with birthdays. I have trouble with anniversaries. I don't remember these things. The dates aren't terribly, I guess dates have never been terribly important to me. And I don't mean like that to throw aspersion or offense to anything. Dates just don't stick in my head. I was just so happy to get married and to marry my best friend that I just, that whole thing was just a great big fog. I don't really, I barely remember. I remember some of the people who were there. I was just like, can we just get through this? I just want to be married. Very, very wonderful day of my life. Don't remember the date exactly. I just remember that it was late August and the skies opened up with one of the most explosive thunder and lightning storms ever. I do remember that.
We squeaked our wedding in just in
Yes.
time.
Because it was an outdoor wedding.
Got all the guests into the reception.
Got everybody inside, and the
then
skies
the
opened.
Sky just opened up.
It was amazing.
Heavy pour.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like 12 hours
For like
straight.
12 solid hours.
It was nuts.
Yeah, we just celebrate the whole month of August. That sounds good to me.
Yeah.
I like that. It's a great month to do stuff anyway, so. Now we have to remember how many years we've been together. I also don't remember that.
Okay, everyone, you have to stop. Stop putting the pressure on.
I don't remember these things.
Oh, jeez. All I know is it was 2006.
It was.
I'm pretty sure.
That's when we got married, right?
Yeah,
That's
I
the
think
year we
so.
got married.
I think it was 06. This is terrible.
This is terrible.
Yeah, I was better at remembering these dates like 5 years ago. I can't remember anymore. Well, what's 06 to August 24?
That'll be 18 years, right?
There you go. 18 years this August.
That's how long we've been married.
Plus a year of dating.
Plus we were dating for a year, yeah. We will definitely
we're making everyone giggle in the chat.
Well,
here.
I mean, this is how you know you're with the right person. Dates don't matter. I'm just unraveling this stuff just so I can make it a little bit more fluffy and airy to kind of squish into the sunshine here. And I want to make sure I get it to the bottom of the sun. If you're using pillow stuffing, I recommend sort of similar thing. Like you kind of just tear it into little chunks before you stuff it in. Let's use some of this stuff here. Is this, or shall I use this? Maybe this. Hey, Shell! Shell's in the house. Shell's been a member for 65 months. Goodness me, thank you, Shell. Shell says that happens to us. We met on February the 11th and got married on November the 10th, which is the 11th month, and I'm forever mixing it up. Married my bestie. Aw. See, that's the best. You got to marry your best friend.
We have some veterans in the chat too. Woo!
Like been married
36 years, 44 years.
Woohoo! That's awesome.
Wow! And you're still alive?
You
I
haven't-
am impressed.
You haven't haven't
impressed.
thrown each other out a window yet.
You still have all your limbs and your eyes and everything? Any battle scars?
Oh my gosh, Marie was just barely out of high school when we got married. Joy! Thank you for picking up a couple of patterns. Yes, we are having a solar eclipse sale today, everybody. It is any of our patterns that are sun or moon related are on sale in the Etsy shop. And a gigantic thank you to everybody who's popped in and picked one up. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I am just taking my time to get this nice and... I unravel the yarn because it gives it a little bit of breathing space. Like it's not completely compact. You don't want it to be hard. You want it to be kind of soft or squishy, I guess. You want stuffed things to be squishy. So I'm just going to keep doing this until I get a nice round looking sun. Summer was still in high school when we got married. Woohoo!
We've got Rita here at 50 years.
Whoa!
Rita's the top dog so far.
Wow!
Rita's the winner.
Joanna at 44.
50 years.
44 years, she
We got
says, it's
44,
still alive and never argued.
We got
Aw.
26, 36.
And I hope we all have several more solar eclipses to see ahead. Yes, Sylvia, love is in the air. It's so true. It's the spring. Of course love is in the air. You guys heard the birds? They are screaming about love.
All the birds and squirrels out there. We saw the robin again today. The little sparrows are back.
Yes, our little sparrows are back.
I haven't seen a bee yet, though. I think it's too cold for the bees.
Too cold for bees, but I did shoo a fly out of the house.
Oh, yes.
So, just rearranging the stuffing in this little guy. I don't want to overstuff it. I don't want it to be like... I don't want that stuffing to show through too much. Maybe just a little bit more.
If you've been with your partner for 40 years, you're officially married.
Yeah.
Regardless of paperwork.
Yes.
I would say that's official.
All right. I think that's enough for me. I will just resort it a little bit. Whenever I do a little stuffy, I also kind of rearrange the stuffing. Like once I get it in, sometimes I kind of reach in there and move it around a little bit because I don't want one area to be like overstuffed. Get my little bits and pieces out of the way here.
Sun's coming along nicely.
Almost got it all completely stuffed. The problem with the eyelash yarn is that little bits of it stick out, but that's actually it's kind of cute. All right, I'm gonna finish stitching this up and then I'm gonna squish it around until it looks like it's in a good shape. So I squish.
Karen wants to know if you have grandkids.
Who? What?
Do you have grandkids, Jada?
Do we have grandkids?
Grandkids?
Good Lord, how old do you think I am? No, I do not have any grandkids. Alrighty, we're going to just stitch up single crochet through the remaining sets of stitches. Make sure I don't miss any. And then I will just kind of squish and squeeze the little guy into shape here. There we go. You can slip stitch to finish off that little bit of a circle. And you can weave your tail in or pull it directly into the sunshine. Now don't worry so much about the edging if it looks a bit funny because our little sun points are actually going to sit on top of it. And now I like to get my hook in there and wiggle around the stuffing. Careful not to pull it out. Just so it's kind of more evenly moved around. Yeah, getting somewhere here. All right. So I'm just going to pull this right into the inside of my center. And then we're going to make some star points. There we go. Okay, so there's my little face. Nice and round. I've already made 4 of these little sun points, and I want to make 7 in total. So I'm going to make another 3 while I'm sitting here with you guys. They're pretty quick to make. So I'm going to go back to my big hook, my 7mm, back to my yellow yarn. And 7 of these are, Audrey says her mom was a grandmother the first time at the age of 39. Holy cow! That's a young family. Wow.
It's good for chasing.
It's It's good. Yes,
Little
you
tykes.
still have energy in you to run around after
do
people.
like a 100-meter dash if you need to.
All of our little sun points are worked from the top down. We're going to start with a cinch circle. So we cross our yarn to make a little loop. Hook goes through the loop. Grab yarn, pull up a loop on the hook, and chain 1. That secures everything. And we go from very, very small to bigger. So we're going to work 4 single crochet into the cinch circle. Just 4. I think if I was working on this super micro, this might be the most difficult part, but since I'm using bigger yarn, it's not a big deal today. 4 single crochet into the cinch circle, cinch it up nice and tight. I'm just going to leave my little short tail down because it's going to become sort of the inside. And here we go. Into the first stitch, we're going to work 2 single crochet. I'm going to put my stitch marker on stitch number 1. Single crochet once into the next stitch, and then 2 single crochet into the next stitch. That leaves us with 1 stitch, single crochet into the last stitch. So we go from 4 single crochet in the cinch circle to 6 single crochet at the end of row 2. And we're going to continue with this increased pattern for a couple more rows. 2 single crochet into the first stitch. This is row 3. Single crochet once into each of the next 2 stitches. And then repeat. 2 single crochet, 1, 1. So 2 single crochet into the next stitch. I'm just making a little triangular sun point here. Single crochet once into each of the next 2 stitches. So now we're up to 8 stitches. So we've gone from 4 to 6 to 8, and now we're going to go up to 10. 2 single crochet in the first stitch. This is row 4. Put that slip stitch marker back in. Single crochet once into each of the next 3 stitches. And then repeat. 2 single crochet into the next stitch, single crochet once into each of the remaining 3 stitches. And that brings us up to 10. We're going to do that again. We want to go up to 12. So we start with 2 single crochet in the first stitch. This is for, what is this, row 5? So single crochet twice into the first stitch. We're in row 5 here. Single crochet once into each of the next 4 stitches. And then repeat. 2 single crochet into the next stitch, single crochet once into each of the next 4 stitches. And that will bring us up to 12. All right, 2 more rows left on the sun point. For row 6, we increase 1 last time, but the increase pattern changes a little bit. We want to go from 12 stitches at the end of row 5 to 16 stitches at the end of row 6. So here we go. 2 single crochet into the next stitch. I'm going to place my stitch marker on stitch number 1. Single crochet once into each of the next 2 stitches. And then we repeat that 3 more times. 2 single crochet, 1, 1, 2 single crochet, 1, 1. And that will bring us up to 16 stitches. And 1 more, 2 single crochet followed by a single crochet in each of the last 2 stitches. So now at the end of row 6, we're up to 16 stitches. We've got one more row left in the sun point, and we want to single crochet in each stitch all the way around. So row 7, we're going to single crochet in each stitch all the way around. So you'll still have 16 stitches. I'm going to mark the first one with my stitch marker so I know that's the beginning. No increasing for row 7, just single crochet in each stitch all the way around. If you're leaving, have a great day, have a great week. We'll see you Friday. Thank you so much for spending some time with us. So single crochet in each stitch all the way around for row 7. That still gives you 16 stitches. And now we're going to single crochet into each of the next 7 stitches. This isn't going to change the stitch count. It's just going to round up or even up the bottom of our little sun point. So single crochet into each of the next 7 stitches. It just evens up the bottom of the little sun point. Then you can slip stitch into the next stitch, fasten off, and leave yourself a tail for sewing. However long you think you need. And my little tail is just sort of tucked up there. So that's sun point number 5 for me. I want to make 2 more. And if I feel like I can fit in another one, I'll make another one. The sun points are all the exact same pattern. So here I go again. I'm going to start with a cinch circle. Chain 1 to secure it. And I begin 4 single crochet into the circle. Cinch it up nice and tight. Row 2, we start with a little increase pattern, 2 single crochet into the first stitch. Single crochet once into the next stitch. And then 2 single crochet into the next stitch. Single crochet once into the last stitch. So from 4 stitches in row 1 to 6 stitches in row 2. Row 3, we continue that little increase pattern, 2 single crochet in the first stitch. I keep marking my first stitch with the stitch marker just so I always know where the front of my star point is. Single crochet once into each of the next 2 stitches. Oops. And then repeat, 2 single crochet, and then 1 and 1. That's the end of row 3. So we're up to 8 stitches. Row 4, we're going to continue with the increase pattern. We want to get up to 10. So 2 single crochet in the first stitch. Single crochet into each of the next 3 stitches.
Nika would like to know, how do you know that they'll fit around correctly?
Well, other than the stitch count, there's also just spacing. So because it's a little amigurumi, there are 60 stitches all the way around. At the end of row 7, we've got 16 stitches, which means if you flatten your little sun point, you've got 8 stitches across. So you've got 60, which means if you had 10 stitches across, you could technically fit in 6 star points. But I've made them 2 stitches less in width, so I can fit in roughly 7. Now, if you are tight or loose or something works out a little bit smaller or whatever, and you can only fit in 6 sun points, like evenly, nice and evenly spaced, evenly distributed around the edge, that's fine. If you are really tight or if everything's kind of normal, you fit in 7, that's how the pattern does work for 7, then that's fine. If your little sun points are really, really tight, then you can fit in an extra one, then you can fit in an extra one. I have it so that the sun points basically touch each other all the way around, but you could also have them like sort of spaced out a little bit too if you want. It's an amigurumi, or in this case, I'm going to make it into like a little miniature pillow. So there's a little bit of freedom here, a little bit of flexibility, mostly because we already have a nice edge around the outside of our sun. So if a little bit of this is showing, that's okay, because it's a nice, even, neat edge. But if it's all completely covered, so I do it by straddling my sun points over top of that single crochet edge, and then I just sew back and forth through the whole thing, connecting it to the actual sunshine. And I like to start with a point up at the top, but I recommend that you get all of your little pieces done first and you lay them all around the sun to decide how many you want and where you want them before you start sewing them down. But that's how you know they fit. I hope that kind of answered that properly. We are starting row 5. We're going to start with 2 single crochet. I think that's row 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Starting row 5, 2 single crochet in the first stitch, followed by a single crochet in each of the next 4 stitches. And then a repeat. This will take us up to 12 stitches. Let's shove that down there, get it out of my way. 2 single crochet into the next stitch. Single crochet into each of the remaining 4 stitches. So that brings us up to 12 at the end of row 6. Pardon me, at the end of row 5. There we go. So row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4, row 5. You're always a bit backed up, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Row 6, we start with 2 single crochet, and now our little increased pattern changes a bit. 2 single crochet into the first stitch, single crochet once into each of the next 2 stitches, and then we repeat that 3 more times. 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1. There we go. That's the end of row 6. We now have 16 stitches. Row 7, we want to just single crochet in each stitch all the way around. So I'm going to start that. So it'll still be 16 stitches at the end of row 7. Bethany! Hi, Bethany! Bethany's been a member for 61 months. Thank you so much, Bethany. With a membership milestone, Bethany says, "Good morning. I love the crochet sun. I made my mother-in-law one and she has it on display all the time. Aww. I also made her your baby star blanket in different colors to make table toppers and cloth." Oh, I love it. I also make her your baby star blanket. I love that. That is such a, you can do that one in thread too. You can make it in thread. You can make it like a blanket. You can make it in super bulky yarn. That's a really pretty pattern. I love that. That's a classic. That's that 12-point star pattern. That's a real classic. I like that blanket pattern a lot. Oh, thanks, Bethany. I'm so happy to hear that. Yes, Mr. InStitches reminds me we have got our little eclipse, solar eclipse sale going on at the Etsy shop. So any of our sun and moon patterns are on 15% off today. Thank you to everybody who's picked one up. Got a little bit of fluff here. At the end of row 7, we are going to single crochet once into each of the next 7 stitches. This is just to even up the bottom of our little sun point. There we go. Once you've done all 7, maybe just one more, you can slip stitch into the next stitch and fasten off. Leave yourself enough tail that you can sew it down. And then, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can definitely get 2 more in. I'm going to do 2 more, but I'm going to go get some more coffee first. I'll be right back, everybody.
Uh-oh, I think we're out of coffee.
Are we out of coffee?
Do you want me to make a fresh pot?
No, it's okay. No coffee. Water's fine.
I guess you'll have to settle for
Water's
water.
okay.
We had a gifted membership.
Nico. I sneak out to get some water, and Nico sneaks in with a gifted membership. Thank you, Nico. And congratulations, Marie. Marie's won it. Woohoo! Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh my gosh, did she just do it again?
Is that
Nico.
a second gifted membership? Oh my goodness.
Nico.
Nico.
Thank you, Nico. And Melissa has won it. Oh, that's extra sneaky.
That was a very sneaky maneuver there.
That was a very sneaky maneuver. All right, I'm going to make a couple more star points because I definitely have room around this little guy. I think so anyway. I could sort of separate them. Nah, I'm going to do 8. Why not? We'll do an even number. I can definitely fit those in. So, let's see how quickly I can make 2. Cinch circle, 4 single crochet into the circle. All of these are identical. Cinch it nice and tight. Oh, I have a little knot. How dare you? Don't you dare. There we go. Oh my goodness gracious. Karen, thank you for picking up a couple of patterns. Cinch it up nice and tight, and then I immediately start to increase. So 2 single crochet in the first stitch, single crochet once into the next stitch, and repeat 2 and 1. Crocus! Hello, Crocus. Thank you for the super chat. Crocus says, hope everyone has a bright, sunshiny day. A bright, sunshiny day. That sounds like a song. That's a song. Sunshiny day.
Yes,
what song is that?
Sunshiny day.
What song is that?
Someone will know.
That just kind of. That's going way back.
Definitely song lyrics.
That's going way back.
From the 90s?
No, I think it's older than that. Row 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1,
Okay,
1.
everyone, we need a song title here.
Sunshiny day. I can hear it.
Bright sunshiny day. Yeah, I can hear it too.
Hi, Mandy. Mandy's been a member for 7 months. Thank you, Mandy.
It's not Sesame Street.
Not Sesame Street. Mandy.
I can see clearly now. Yes.
I can see
That is
clearly
the tune.
now. Yes.
The rain is
has
gone.
That is such a good song.
That is it.
Mandy with a super membership milestone here says, so glad to be here for this sunshine on this cloudy eclipse day. I love your channel and all the support this community gives to each other. I have to agree, Mandy. This is such a supportive group. This is such a creative group. I can't wait to start showing some of the pictures of the new Four Corners Granny Square that we just did on Friday. A lot of you have been sending in photographs. Thank you so much. And of course, some of you had to try it with 3 and in some cases 4 colors. And of course, it looks so cool. I'm really glad you guys were trying it out. I mean, if you're a bit nervous, definitely just do the 2. It also looks cool in 1. I think I neglected to mention that in the tutorial, but you can do it in a solid color, obviously, and that stops you having to worry about changing colors. You just get a nice dense fabric, a nice thick square. So you can always do that, but the niftiness in that square is just defined by the constantly changing colors, and that's how you get that really neat kind of cornered look. And it looks really neat when you use more than 2 colors too. So some of you have already tried it, and I love it. I am on, what am I on, row 4 here? No, I think I'm on row, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I'm on row 5. So 2 single crochet followed by a single crochet in each of the next 4. I'm up to 12 stitches. So that's the end of row 5, and then I want to do row 6. I'm trying to make these little guys as quick as I can.
We're all coming up with sun songs here. Sunny songs.
3, 4.
I think there's more songs about the sun than the moon, eh?
Oh, probably. Well, actually,
there's a lot of songs about the moon too. But I think the sun is more.
Are there more songs about the sun? Or are we going to just say referencing one or the other? Because if it's referencing the sun or the moon, I'm going to say it might be about equal.
There's definitely a lot about the moon, but not as many. And I think I'm just guessing, but
Row
We could
7.
probably Google it.
Single crocheting each stitch all the way around. Yeah, I'm sure there's some program out there that can quickly sort of scrape the net and figure it out.
We all know that when the moon meets your eye. We all know that one. Talking about pizza pies. Moon River, says Robin. Oh, I'm sure there's
Moon
thousands.
River. I like that one.
If anyone knows sun song titles or moon song titles, put them in the chat.
3. I've got one more in me, I think. Let's see.
Oh, there's a lot of moon ones too.
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
It could be almost
It's a
equal.
marvelous night
Maybe
for
you're
a
right.
moon dance. Oh, yeah, that's a
Maybe
good
you're
one.
right. It could be almost equal.
Yep, I'm going to do 8. I'm going to do 8 this time around. So I'm going to do one more little sun point.
Did you put the supplies in the description?
I will do it.
Jada will put all the pattern notes, or
yeah.
no, the supply notes.
I will add all that after the live stream, just so if you need to come back, because we do every once in a while when we do these sort of like remakes, I like to sort of change things up a little bit, and I did today. I changed up the yarn, the hook, so it's a little bit different from the original, but the pattern itself hasn't really changed. The pattern itself hasn't changed at all, actually. 1, 2, 3.
Walking on Sunshine.
4, 5,
That's a classic.
6. I love that song.
I wonder what it would be like walking on moonshine.
That
You wouldn't be walking a straight line, that's for sure.
Walking on Sunshine is one of the happiest songs. One, 2.
Oh, sole mio.
3, 4.
That's a classic. Today's our little homage to the sun and the moon.
Yes.
Big thank you to those two for keeping us alive and healthy.
Yeah, keeping the water moving and the earth turning and all that other good stuff.
Supporting our little spaceship in space.
Keeping our spaceship from rocketing out into space.
Keeping our spaceship alive.
1, 2, 3, 4. Finishing off my last little star point, or excuse me, I should say sun point here. So I've chosen to make 8. Usually I make 7, but it looks like I'm going to be able to squeeze 8 in because why not? But like Nico was sort of asking earlier, I think it's perfectly all right to use as many of these points as you want. You can space them out. You can cram them in if you want. So that's row 6. Now I'm going to do row 7. I'm going to single crochet in each stitch all the way around. Mr. InStitches has gifted some memberships. Thank you, sweetie.
I used your credit card.
Use my credit card. Congratulations to Charlene.
Everyone is welcome.
Amanda, Auntie Ree, pardon me, Robin, and Joyce. Congratulations, guys.
I love gifting memberships with your credit card.
Yes,
it's my
I know you
favorite
do.
thing to do.
That's okay. I like buying video games with your credit card.
Oh yeah, that's right. I guess it's tit for tat.
All right. Now I just want to single crochet into each of the last, or I should say the next 7 stitches. That will just round things up for me. And then slip stitch and fasten off. Okay. So now I've got 8 sun points rather than the usual 7, because why not? I can fit them all in. So now what I want to do is sort of decide whereabouts I want them and then just stitch them on. So this is the last part of the project. Once you get all of your little sun points made, you just sort of lay them out. I'm going to cram 8 in because I feel like that's kind of fun. I think I'm going to sort of evenly space them so that there's 2 kind of directly up top and 2 out the bottom, 2 out the side. That's nice. Bethany! Bethany, thank you. Bethany has gifted a membership too. Thank you, Bethany. And congratulations, Sandy. Sandy has won it. All right, so I'm going to just start with the first one, and here we go. So I threaded up the tail left on the sun point, and now all I'm going to do is just straddle the front and back of it over top of the single crocheted seam around the 2 main parts of the sun. So I'm sort of sandwiching that single crochet stitchery in between the front and back bits. And I'm going to stitch directly through the sun. Cha-ching. Yvonne, thank you so much for picking up a pattern. Thank you, thank you. There we go. I'm going to stitch right through and then through a piece of the sun point, and the same thing on the way back. Through a piece of the sun point, through a piece of the actual, like the edge stitch of the sun, and then through an edge piece of the sun point. And I'm just going to do that. Grab a piece of the sun point, go right through the edge seam, come out the other side, and then just get the next stitch along the sun point. And I'm just going to sew back and forth like that. So nothing fancy. And this way I know I'm getting all 3 sides. So the front of the sun point, the edge stitch of the sun, and then the back side of the sun point. And I'm just going to go through each stitch, making sure I get them all. And I don't need to go all the way back across. There we go. And I'm going to just leave this line because ultimately I'm going to sort of knot all of my ends together. So I'm just going to leave that there. I'm not even going to knot it. I will grab another tail from sewing on another sun point, and I will knot them together and then pull them into the sun. So I'm just going to start. Now I can start stitching them all together all the way around. So for example, I can do this one, and I can turn it around so that when I'm finished sewing this one, the tail is back meeting up with the other one. I'll show you what that looks like. And of course, now that I've got one on,
it's using blanket yarn right now?
I'm using, this is Decor. So this is Bernat Decor yarn.
So it's not blanket yarn.
It's not. It's a size 5.
So Bethany was asking about blanket yarn.
You can use blanket yarn, absolutely. You just might want to use a slightly bigger hook.
How big do you think the sun would become with blanket yarn, and what type of hook would you use?
So right away I would give it a try. If you're going to use the regular size 6 blanket yarn, an 8mm to make it tight stitching. If it's too tight, 9mm, and the 8 is the L or 11. The super bulky is quite a bit thicker than this size 5. Super bulky starts to be a lot thicker than your regular size 5 chunky bulky. So this guy already, just the sun itself is 6 inches in diameter or 15 centimeters. And then of course, once I get the star points on, it'll be quite a bit bigger. So I'm going to say that the blanket yarn would give this an extra third again. So you'd probably be at like 9, almost 10 inches just in the sun diameter before you get to the sun points. And that's not changing anything to do with the pattern. You're just using the super bulky yarn and the big hook. Now, if you use the jumbo yarn, like that super, super ridiculous blanket stuff that I love, that I want to play more with, you could probably double this. It'd probably be like a whole 12 inches or 30 centimeters across before you even get the sun points on. And then just use a hook that gets you a dense stitch. It's not too tight, but like doesn't give you gaps in between your stitches. They're not huge gaps in between your stitches. A little bit of gapping is to be expected, not a big deal. So now I'm going to sew this sun piece going in the other direction so that my two sewing tails ends up next to each other. And I'll just work my way back. I will make sure I put all pertinent notes, pattern notes, plus materials, hooks, etc. Anything that I kind of did differently. I'll make sure that's all in the description box of this live stream after the live stream's done. I like to try and do that. I know we change things up sometimes for the original pattern when we do a live stream. So I like to go back and add those notes whenever I finish, just so if you come back a little later, it's all there for you. And I am just sewing all these down. You can share stitches. You don't have to, you can like your last stitch for each solar flare can share a stitch along the edge of your sun, or if you're spacing them out, they can be spaced apart. That's all up to you too. See, I've got these two ends now. I'm just going to tie them together nice and tight. And now I'm going to pull this down into the body of the sun. This is my first time using this Decker yarn. It's a cotton nylon combination, mostly cotton. It's like 80-20 kind of thing. And it feels very nice. I like it. I don't know if they're still making it, but I've had it in the stash for a while. If you can, it's fun. It's nice to work with. It's not too stretchy. I was concerned that it might be too stretchy, but it's actually kind of nice. So there's 2 on. And now I'm going to do the rest. And since I've got 8 and I have nice pairs of them, I'm going to stitch them so that they're always like the sewing tails always meet in the middle and I can knot them together. So this one, I'm going to go right through here. Karen's wondering what my favorite stitch to use is. It depends on the project, Karen. I like all the stitches. I was just sort of thinking, we did last week we did the little covered button pattern. And I really like tall stitches, but I like them better when I'm using when I'm using thread weight yarn, because if you're using large yarn and a big regular sized hook, the taller stitches can be a little bit cumbersome. But with a crochet thread and a small, like a steel hook, the tall stitches are actually really fun to make because they're not that difficult. Because everything's so much smaller. So I like, in that case, if I'm using crochet thread, I love using like the treble crochets and the triple crochets. I really like that. But I don't maybe like them as much when I'm using regular yarn. So I don't know, it depends on the project. I definitely feel that I can double crochet the fastest. Like if I had to pick a stitch to be what's my fastest stitch, definitely double crochet is my fastest stitch. But I like to make a lot of amigurumi, and I feel that the best stitch for that, at least the stuff I make, is the single crochet. So yeah, it depends on the project. This one now, I'm going to stitch this one on so that it matches up with that one.
Can you see Sandra's question?
Sandra. Have you ever had any project using plarn? Wondered if it would be good for outdoors. I have not yet used grocery bag yarn. Like, you know, where you kind of make plarn kind of by cutting up grocery bags. I have not done that. I don't have a lot of grocery bags to spare. They stopped letting us get them in this country a while ago, and now if you have to buy a bag, it's usually like paper.
It's not the whole country. It's just some.
It's not the whole country.
Some provinces.
Yeah, it's some provinces and some
areas,
places.
Some provinces.
Yeah. So we actually don't have access to a lot of plastic anymore, which is kind of a bummer because you need plastic bags for a lot of things.
They were
you just do.
Handy for the garbage.
Yeah, they're handy for the garbage. They're handy for picking up after the pets. They're handy for just a whole bunch of things, really. We always use all of our garbage bags or our plastic bags whenever we have them. But I've never actually experimented with plarn. And I would say that, yes, if you were going to make something like a rug with it, for sure that would be good for outside.
You'd have to figure out you'd have to weight it down though, because it'd be super light.
Yeah, it would be very light, which is kind of neat. So that's 2 more. So I've got 4.
Bow's Arrow says less than 10 minutes to the eclipse. I think it depends on where you are.
That's exciting. Yes.
So what area are you in, Bow's?
You must be sort of in the southern end of North America, I'm guessing.
Let's see. I'm going to look out the window and see if I can see any aliens.
And the neighbors don't count.
The squirrels and chipmunks don't count
no.
either.
Our squirrels and chipmunks act a little alien sometimes, but they belong here. All right, there's the first 4 on. And now I'm going to do the next 4. E. Peaches says, I would not use grocery bags. It will kill your wrist and fingers. Do not go near that if you want to use your hands in the future. Okay, so good point, good tip from E. Peaches. Not anywhere near Central Florida, but we'll be watching NASA live stream. Oh, well, is the NASA live stream, I guess, would be in Florida? Cape Canaveral, presumably? Anybody know? Yes, exactly, Ms. Rabbit. We need them for the cat, for emptying the cat potty. I totally agree. See, you need plastic. You do need plastic. It's, I'm not sure. I know they can make decomposing bags, or bags that are kind of a little more, they're like plastic. It's like a plastic that decomposes. I think that stuff's fantastic. I don't see why they just don't use those as the plastic bags now that you can get at the grocery. I'd be happy to pay for those. I mean, I use them. I use the bags after I get them. So, NASA.
So I guess the NASA channel is streaming it. So you could go to YouTube's NASA and they're streaming it. I saw a bunch of other channels that were streaming it live.
It's really kind of neat. I love that.
So if you can't see it in real life, you should definitely check that out. That's fun.
Yes. Don't you just love the internet? Oh. So much.
The sun is directly above us, so we can't really see it. I can't really see it. I'd have to go outside and brave the squirrels.
Oh. They will expect snacks.
They're going to expect Eclipse snacks. The sun just popped out. Okay.
I'm guessing that
are getting cloudy weather, maybe?
Yeah, I'm guessing that some people probably, I mean, it's April, you know, like, isn't this kind of like typically kind of rainy weather? No? For most people? All right. So that's 1. I feel like you're only stitching through like 8 stitches, so the little sun points don't take much to sew on.
Happy little sunshine.
Yeah, it is happy. I like it.
We're gonna need a happy little moon now to match.
I think so.
All right.
Jerry says the squirrels want moon pies. Aw. We made sure that everybody got a good bite to eat today. I'm sure they won't notice or care about the eclipse.
They don't care. They're more focused on where they're going to find their next nut.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people live streaming. There's a lot of news channels live streaming the crowds.
Oh, okay. Sure.
There is Niagara Falls, a bunch of places through the U.S., Mexico. That's a good channel for, I think it's Associated Press. They have like 4 live cams going.
Oh, wow. Oh, cool. Okay, I'm going to actually take this one through here. Oh, Mexico should have a decent,
well,
it should probably be sunny there.
Some places.
Like, I would think it would be less likely to be cloudy in Mexico. Or Florida.
The live stream of Niagara Falls is nice, watching the mist.
Ah. That'd be a fun place to be today. Okay. 2 more to go. So this one and then this one. The thing about using this kind of yarn, this sort of t-shirt woven or spun, not spun, it's almost like it's miniature knit. It's like knitwear, is you can't really poke your needle or your hook through it. Like it doesn't have ply in the traditional sense. So you have to make sure that you're getting through the actual stitch and not trying to stab your needle or your hook through the actual yarn itself, because it's knit. Like it looks like jersey, like a sweatshirt material. It's kind of neat. All right, so one more. I agree, Patrina. It is totally satisfying to watch yarn get just sort of sucked into the body of a project. I also like that you don't have to sit there weaving it in back and forth. That's kind of a nice relief. So here we go. I am on my final sun point.
Looking good.
Looking happy.
Okay, everyone has to stop talking about moon pies because I'm getting hungry and requiring snackage.
Moon pies. Are those chocolate?
Are those round chocolate mini cakes? They're kind of coated in chocolate, and then they're a chocolate cake with
like a Joe Louis
with the white sugar icing in the middle. Is that what a moon pie is? Or are they the ones that are like the half moons? Do you remember the half moon?
Yeah.
Little cakes.
I do.
Every year you buy them, they get smaller and smaller, and the icing becomes less and less.
All right. I'm not sure I ever had one of those.
NASA's live stream is beginning.
Woohoo!
I just linked the NASA channel.
Oh, nice one, mister.
Yeah, I don't know if I can stream it with our stream. It might slow us down. So I'll just link it. For those of you that have like 4 devices, you can watch like 4 things at once.
Yeah, and if you've got like the internet to sort of do it.
Yeah. Let me see here. Play.
Good timing then, as I have just finished the sun. Ba-ba!
Oh, nice.
Oh, that is a very nice feeling.
Adorable.
Moon pies are a cake-like cookie that has icing in between, says Sherry. Well, whatever. It sounds amazing.
It sounds very tasty. Achievement.
Achievement. One happy sunshine.
That is
okay.
so cute.
How big is this?
One happy little sunshine.
So from one tip to the other, it's 11 inches, almost exactly, or 28 centimeters. And the original one is smaller than that. So this one is made with a size 5 chunky bulky weight yarn, and I used a 7mm hook. The original one I made with a size 4 medium weight yarn and a G6 or a 4.25mm hook. And that's a pretty considerable difference in size. I'd say that point to point, the original one's like 6, maybe 7 inches. Maybe 7.5 inches from point to point. So this guy is that much bigger. And if you use the Bernat blanket yarn or any kind of super bulky yarn, it's gonna upsize by at least a couple inches. And of course, if you keep using the bigger hooks, it's gonna get bigger and bigger. I do recommend, if you're stuffing it, to stuff it with something that's a light color, and maybe use the pantyhose trick, where you stuff some not cut off the foot of a pantyhose, knot the end, stuff your pantyhose, and then knot the other end and stuff that into your sun so that none of your little bits want to come out. And it also will it'll be like one even kind of color kind of underneath the crochet. I like that. I've done that before. I didn't have any pantyhose available, so I just stuffed it with yarn. But there you go. Smiling face. New little addition for the craft room here.
Good timing, by the way. The eclipse is about to start in the next 10 minutes or so.
Well, then we will let you guys go so that you can watch the eclipse safely from your armchairs. Watch a live stream where they've got a good angle.
At the sun. Mm-hmm. Remember that.
Yes. Guys, thanks for joining us on the Solar Eclipse Monday for our special Solar Eclipse live stream. Our Solar Eclipse sale is running all day, so pop into the shop if you feel like it to grab a sun or moon related pattern. Big thank you to everybody who has. We will see you Friday. I'm going to work on that tutorial for the little bee applique. I really love that idea. I think that's a nice one for like a nice short, happy little pattern and tutorial for the spring here. And no, I have not forgotten. I'm still working on the granny square covered button. Had to take a little bit of a break over the weekend. My wrist is a bit swollen, so gotta give yourself a break when your body says to take a break. But I'm still working on it. Look at this tiny itty bitty little granny square. Look at this puny little thing. Isn't that cute? So I'm still working on this one. I will have that tutorial available for you guys as well. This is sort of the quick fix version of the live stream we did last Thursday, I think. so you can sort of see it close up with a better camera and some better lighting. So a couple of goodies coming for you guys this week. And I will make sure that we've got pattern notes and material information in the description box for today's live cal. We'll post a picture of it a little bit later on the community tab, but we'll let you guys go so you can go watch the eclipse. And if you're in the path and you're going to go outside, enjoy. Make sure you got your safety glasses on. And we will see you guys all back here later this week. Mr. Stitches, anything you want to add?
No, that's it. You covered it all. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. And we'll see you on Friday.
Yeah. Okay, guys.